want to do this episode because often what happens is that as you're starting up your company or after you file, you might think that you're doing everything that you need to be doing to be protecting all your rights, but then sometimes you realize later that you're actually interested in possibly also pursuing international rights. And so there's some key international filing dates that I just want everybody to be aware of. If you're aware of these, then at least they'll be on your mind and you'll at least be able to think about them as you guys are filing for intellectual property and trying to procure your rights here in the US. So the very, very first one that I want to talk about is the utility patent filing dates. So the key thing to remember is that when you file a utility patent, you have 12 months from the earliest US date to secure international filing rights. So if you're interested in filing patents in foreign countries like Germany, the UK, or France, you have to do that within 12 months of the US filing date. Now, the one gotcha that a lot of people trip up on is provisional patents or non-provisional patents. It's still 12 months from the earliest date, so keep that in mind. So if you file a provisional, you get 12 months to file the US application, but that doesn't buy you another 12 months to file internationally. So if you're interested in going and pursuing international rights, you have to do that within 12 months of the provisional date as well. Now, one thing that we've done episodes on the PCT in the past, but I want to talk about the Patent Cooperation Treaty. So the Patent Cooperation Treaty buys you additional time to decide which of those foreign US countries that you want to file into. And the Patent Office, USPTO, has a really, really nice diagram that shows how this works. But basically, the key thing to take away from this particular episode is that if you're building a company and you're filing patents and you're interested in pursuing foreign rights, it might be a good idea. Now, it's expensive, but it might be a good idea for you to think about filing a PCT. Now, the one thing that you don't want to get tripped up on is you want to make sure that you file the PCT within 12 months of that earliest filing date. Otherwise, you won't be able to file the PCT after that. So I'm going to show you guys how to find this quick tool. It's really useful. It's a nice little graphic. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I'm already sharing it. And the thing to do is if you just Google PCT basic flow, and Victoria kindly presented that for the lower part of the video just for you guys as another reference point. But if you just type in PCT basic flow, it's going to be the very, very first hit. So go ahead and you go into that page and there's this really, really nice graphic. Now, if you're really interested, you can read all about it. But this graphic is actually quite nice. So I'm going to open this image in a new tab and I'm going to zoom in. Now, let me zoom out so you guys can see this. Now, here is the key thing to note right here. So file local application, that's month 0. File PCT application, that's month 12. So this has to happen within 12 months. So one mistake that's commonly made is people think, oh, well, I filed a provisional. I haven't filed the non-provisional, so I still have time. Not the case. You have to get the PCT filed within 12 months of the provisional. Now, what a lot of people do is they file a US provisional, and then they also file a US PCT as well as a US non-provisional. So keep that in mind. Now, let's go back to this real quick. So one thing I want to point out, remember the PCT buys you 30 months from that earliest priority date, from the earliest US priority date. So if you file provisional, you get 12 months to file into the US as a non-provisional. If you file a PCT at that point, you're going to get another 18 months, right? So this is month 12, all the way to month 30. Now, at month 30, that's when you have to decide, hey, I want to file in China. Hey, I want to file in Japan. I want to file in Germany. So you have to do that by month 30. So again, the PCT is kind of pricey, but it buys you those 18 months so you can raise money, have revenue, have a budget in order for you guys to pursue these foreign rights. So interesting tool. But remember, if you blow the 12-month date, if you don't file the PCT within 12 months of the US provisional or the US non-provisional, then you can't pursue the PCT afterwards. So that's one big gotcha. So this is probably the biggest one. Now I want to just mention 2 more just briefly, just so that you guys know. Basically, this particular episode comes down to remember 2 things. For utility patents, remember the key is 12 months. For design patents and trademarks, the key is 6 months. So let's start with design patents. All right. So you file a design patent in the US. Now let's say you want to pursue foreign design patents in foreign countries, it's not 12 months from the US design patent filing date. It's actually 6 months. It's very confusing. It's a big gotcha. It's a big trap for a lot of practitioners. So keep that in mind. All right. So if you're going to file what they call an RCD in Europe, it's basically a European design patent, and you want to claim priority to your US design patent, you have to do that filing within 6 months of the US design patent filing date. So keep that in mind. So that's another big gotcha. So 12 months for utility patents, look out if you're trying to file internationally. 6 months for design patents if you're going to file internationally. So keep that in mind. Now, the third point that I want to make is trademarks. So if you're filing trademarks in the US first, and then you want to pursue those trademarks in foreign countries, remember, you've got to do that within 6 months of the US trademark filing date. That's another big gotcha. So if you file within 6 months, you'll be able to properly claim priority and get the benefit of the US filing date. After 6 months, 6 months in a day, you're out of luck. So again, the big takeaway from this particular episode, remember, if you're interested in ever pursuing foreign filing rights, if you're dealing with utility patents, remember, 12 months is a critical date, and it's 12 months from the earliest filing date. That can be provisional or non-provisional, so keep that in mind. Now, if you're filing design patents and you're interested in pursuing foreign design patent rights in foreign countries, remember, 6 months. You got to file within 6 months of the US date. And then lastly, trademarks are also 6 months. So you can think of it 12 months utility, 6 months design, and 6 month trademarks. So I hope you guys found this really useful. Again, I just wanted to cover some gotchas that people often run up against so that you guys don't fall for these pitfalls, or you make calculated decisions. You decide, hey, I don't want to pursue foreign filing rights in China. Okay, I don't want to pursue design patents in foreign countries. So that's fine. But I just want my viewers to know about it. Thanks a lot, The Forced Invasion. I really appreciate it. I appreciate you watching. I appreciate you commenting. Really, really, really grateful that you guys are you find this content useful. So we're going to keep making it. If you guys have questions about specific issues, please send them to Victoria. You can reach her at victoria@adibiip.com, victoria@adibiip.com. Also, join our text community. You have direct access to me. You can shoot me a text. I'll answer it. 415-943-5193, 415-943-5193. Shoot me a text. You'll join my community and direct access to me. So you send me questions, I'll answer them. I'll answer you back. And I'll also try to get your questions answered on our show.